So the number one question I get is, what is my home going to cost? And that's a question that needs some sort of an answer before we even get started with the process. So there's a lot of things that go into the cost of the home, and that's a tough question to answer. However, there are some rules of thumb. Number one, what's the lot going to cost? Banks look at lot cost versus home cost. We look at lot cost versus home cost. We want to make sure that you're staying in a certain range that you want to be in, and that's one of the indicators. You know, am I buying a $60,000 lot, or am I buying a $300,000 lot? You know, that's the number one indicator. A lot of times we find that the lot ranges anywhere between about 20 and 30% of the total cost of the home. So if you're looking at a lot that costs $60,000, you're probably not going to build $1 million home. So that's number one. The second thing that probably has the biggest impact on the cost of the home is the actual size of the home. Size is the second biggest consideration, because if you're paying, let's say, for example, $120 a square foot for the space, well, that versus, that on 1,000 square feet versus that on 3,000 square feet is huge, or that on 8,000 square feet is a huge difference. So that's the second way to start looking at your cost. The third thing is your finishes. Finishes can vary so much in a home. What kind of cabinets do I have? What kind of stone am I using? What kind of roofing am I using? Those things have just such a huge impact on the cost also. So it's a really hard thing to define up front. Another thing to consider when you're ready to build your home is, what do the homes around me cost? Are we going to be in that same range? Are we going to be less expensive, or are we going to be more expensive? The location, because of the land, oftentimes helps dictate the final cost of the home. So that's a good indicator of what the cost of your home is going to be, is what's around us. The finishes have such a huge impact on the cost of the home. Am I going natural stone versus simulated stone? Am I going granite countertops? Am I going quartz? Am I going laminate countertops? Am I doing real hardwood floors or engineered? These all have different cost points and effect, and they add up. You have 1,000 small decisions with an incremental cost associated with that, and at the end of the day, that adds up to a smaller cost or a larger cost. And so that's somewhat of a difficult question to answer, but not impossible. We try to help walk through that by doing a couple of things. Number one, we help you look at the overall cost per square foot of where that home should be in that area. That will help you understand kind of a range of where your final house cost should be. Number two, we look at it on a breakdown of the line items. We walk through what do you want in your home, what finishes you want, what flooring, what wall finishes, and we take all of these parts and pieces and we help break it down into a cost. We pull that together. That's step number two, and that helps bring it just a little bit closer. An analogy I like to use is we're hitting a dartboard. Number one, first stage is we want to hit the dartboard. We want to make sure we're within that budget range that you've got. Number two, as we're bringing in those individual costs, and we're still estimating at this point, but we're getting closer and closer, and we're making sure that we're hitting that bullseye where you want to get. The third thing is, in this stage that we are, this procedure that we go through, is we take you and we actually bid out what you want. We go through the home design, we get all of the products and the finishes that you want in your home, and we put this out to a lot of our different subcontractors and actually get a price. At the end of the day, we're narrowing down to that bullseye on this dartboard, and that helps you feel confident. And this helps you feel confident that you're getting the home at the cost that you need to be getting it at.